What is the biggest amount of money that changed everything for you?
Big amount of money that I've had, they've never changed my life. Small amounts they have. My first big contract in business was about it was $20,000. In that period I suffered like no man's business. Yeah, I could you could go the whole day without lunch. I stayed in Belvedere, and sometimes I would walk from Belvedere to town and back, because you go home, you don't have money for transport. But my dad is alive. He's doing things. He's around. He's not looking after the family and stuff like that. He's up to his own stuff. So that also affected me very much. I didn't want to be like him. I hated him. So it was a whole lot of issues like that. Yeah.
Yellow Wisdom and Purpose family, thank you so much for wisdoming and purposing with us. ImeTheFinest here. Welcome to yet another episode of Wisdom and Purpose with Ime, where we help you earn more wisdom, become happier, healthier, and more wiser. So today I have a very, very, very special guest. That is, of course, Tinofara Mutivongi, a tech entrepreneur, managing director, and CEO of Ixa Academy. So join me after this break as we talk to Mr. Tinofara Mutivongi.
You think you're walking all alone on this road, feeling the world put on you a heavy load. We bring you stories of the strength inside, a place to heal with nothing left to hide. Wisdom and purpose, hear the African sound, lifting each other up from solid ground. So tune in now and let your spirit shine. With ImeTheFinest, everything is fine. Wisdom and purpose with ImeTheFinest.
Tinofara Mutivongi, thank you so much for joining me. Say, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure.
I was expectant to this conversation because we've been planning for this conversation for a longest time, and finally it's now happening.
Yeah,
so
sure. It's been a busy season. So yeah, maybe we'll talk about it later, but it's been a busy season for me, and sorry for keeping you waiting.
No, I understand. When the time is right, it will happen.
Yeah, sure.
So let's start off with this. Growing up, did you ever think you would become the person that you are today?
Okay, so it's different stages. So actually my life is like this. I grew up in rural areas, under Sada district in Chikomba East. So my mom was a teacher there. I had like just normal dreams that every kid has. Every Zimbabwean kid, they want to be a pilot and a doctor. I went through that phase. Then I went through a period of confusion. I think around grade 5 to 7, I was confused. I didn't know what I was going to become. Then I think when I was actually, what I tell people that I kept to the realization of that I want to be an entrepreneur, I was just informed too. I have a friend of mine called Zikomborero Mzit, who I always honor for the rest of my life. So Zikomborero had a smartphone. Okay. So like this, a can't put the phone, but that had access to internet. So the person who opened the Facebook page, my Facebook account, it was opened for me by Ziko. So Ziko would not get airtime sometimes. He had a phone, but I would get pocket money. So I would buy airtime, and then we surf the internet with Ziko's phone and go on Facebook and stuff like that. So actually around that time, my mom, who was the breadwinner in the family, the most amount of money she had made was $1,000. She had saved, and then she was buying clothes from Mutare in Mozambique to sell Mabero and stuff like that. It was $1,000. For me, because my mom was my hero, I always thought $1,000 a lot of money. So using the internet this week, I discovered about Strive Masiwa. And I heard he was a millionaire. And I said, people make millions. Like I'm just a rural boy, I don't understand things, right? That's my perception of the world. Well, if people make millions, what does he do? Then I'm told, equate. So actually, you don't at this age, you don't realize that when you're buying airtime, this is someone making money. Mine's just something, maybe it's the government that we're giving money or something. You don't realize that there's a person behind it. Yeah. And I said, I'm going to make millions from that.
How old were you?
I'm Form 2, so I'm around 14 years old, something like that. And I said, I'm going to make millions. So actually, I came up with a plan that so if he owns Econet, so I'm going to own another telecoms company. And there's somewhere I even told myself I'm going to buy Telecel. Then we start competing and I start making millions. So that's when that's how it has been. But along the journey, after that, I also got into a period of darkness where I didn't know if I was gonna be the person that I am today. At some point, my dream was, I think, when I was around Form 3, my dream was to be a sim dance artist.
What happened to that sim dance artist?
The dream. So I'm actually not good at singing. So the dream was not gonna come true anyhow. And then I at some point I then got back on track and I started focusing on my academics. So I love Sim Danzo so much. I would listen to Judgment Yard at night and not read and stuff like that. Things of that nature. And I would know every new release song and stuff like that. And back then I loved Shinzo Man so much. So then I stopped at some point. I just said I want to focus on academics because I saw that I'm good at this. That's when things changed. I then wanted to become an engineer, a mechanical engineer. Then I went on and on and on and I then wanted to become a lot of things. But I think from that time when I stopped wanting to be a Zim dance artist, I had meaningful dreams to become something. Sure.
Or apart from what you've just mentioned, what is your earliest childhood memory that you think has shaped the person that you are?
Oh, wow. So my mom always sold something. Like at the school in the rural areas when she goes to waenda kupay. Mama waenda kupay, waizoga something to sell all the time. Be it pens, books, clothes, things like that. And so at some point she would I remember one day with our maid that was called Portia going around Kumarai in Chichono things I remember that my mom would have brought. Of which this was something that is looked down upon. So Chiriwan were better in the society because my mom is a teacher, remember? So when our mistress is going around Ashitengesa. So sometimes this is looked down upon, but my mom will always be so like find out So it's those things. Sometimes sometimes and stuff like that. So I think those are some of the memories that have shaped the kind of I think the entrepreneur that I've become at this stage.
Well, let's talk about the real issue now. How did you start your company, Ixa Academy?
Okay, so I was working for a mobile phone company, Astro Mobile, and so the company at that point it faced some challenges due to the economic things that were happening in Zimbabwe. That was the time where gauge dollar to bonds not thing. So the company was facing challenges. They were not bringing spare parts for their phones. Because of that. So I then just saw the opportunity. I was working there doing social media marketing actually. So I then said, let me start bringing those papers. So I started with an order of batteries. Then I brought in an order of some batteries. And then I then said, actually fixing phones because people want the batteries. This is the period where we have inbuilt batteries. People want you to fix the phones. People want you to put the screens and stuff like that. So then just said, let me open a company that's just that we bring spare parts from China and we fix people's phones. So that's what we did. And I then started the company. I was still working at Astro. I tried to hire technicians. I was having a problem. Actually, I couldn't find technicians to hire to work for me. So they said, where's the school that trains people to fix phones? I just assumed there's a school. I inquired, asked about from a lot of colleges. I saw UCT had a program to do that, but it had been stopped. I said, maybe I could be able to do this. So now I'm pushing this business. I then quit within a month, less than a month actually after I started. I quit my job to go all in, which probably was a mistake because at that period I suffered like no man's business. Yeah, I could, you could go the whole day without lunch. I stayed in Belvedere and sometimes I would walk from Belvedere to town and back because you go home, you don't have money for transport. You have the last dollar, you use it for transport to go home. You have nothing to go with to work the following morning, so you just woke up and you go to work, right? And you work.
At that time, how many employees
I
did
have
you
no
have?
employees.
You are the only one.
I'm the sole employee. And then along the way, I then had some guy that I was working with. He had his own workshop because I was still learning to fix phones. So you help me with complex problems and stuff like that. So it's just me. I'm in a co-working space called B2C at Patana. I'm paying rent. My rent then was the equivalent of $10 US. It was state bond. So it's I would go don't change at $10 US, and then do put 30
30 bonds.
30 bond. Don't know about that rent at work. That's the nature of things. So it's a shared desk. It's a big room where there's a lot of people doing their stuff. And I felt a lot of challenges there because the nature of business, fixing phones and stuff, was not something that was within the scope of what the owners of the place expected. Yeah, I faced a lot of challenges. Sometimes they even contemplated chasing me away from there.
What does those challenges taught you about yourself?
I think generally, I think I'm resilient. Yeah, because right now, at the stage where I am with business, I face even much bigger challenges. If you don't face those challenges when you start and overcome them, when the kind of challenges that I'm now facing at this stage in business, when they come, and they just wipe you out, you don't survive.
So we are going to talk about those challenges. As you are a school university dropout.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Okay, so I went to university. I studied software engineering, and so I went to university, and then I'm at university. I'm thinking about my life. I'm so deep. So at this point, so before I started this business with Astro, maybe I give you some background. I started another business, which was a social media marketing business. I was just helping a few clients. I was making probably maybe $150 a month, depending on the month, just doing that. So, but I'm also very keen on entrepreneurship. I'm reading books, I'm watching podcasts, I'm learning a lot about it. I'm attending seminars. And at that point, I actually had a breakfast meeting that I would attend with other entrepreneurs every Tuesday. So this is me in business. But I went to university. So I'm seeing the way we are learning at university. It's I'm learning on YouTube. And at the same time, my fees was $900. For my mom, who was a teacher, to raise that money, it was a huge challenge. So she had to raise the money over some months because, you know, you have a long break after you finish A-level or to university. She raised the money over a long period of time. She was going to Zambia. She's buying clothes to come and sell back here. Also combining with the teacher's salary. So she's struggling. The second semester for me, she had to go and borrow the money because the money is just not there. And it also even affected my young brother. My young brother delayed to go to Form 1 because they're sacrificing to send me to university. I'm the firstborn child. So Ndika Yambuka, the family Yambuka. Yeah, so I'm saying we are learning on YouTube, yeah. The teacher just comes and gives you this assignment, you learn on YouTube, yeah, they come and they teach you certain things. But most of the things you're learning on YouTube, I'm like, okay, but my dream ultimately is to become an entrepreneur. And I'm not thinking of any idea in software engineering that would make me the entrepreneur that I want to be. So I said, probably, if we learn things on YouTube here, I may be able to go and learn about entrepreneurship on YouTube and actually do well as an entrepreneur. Rather than making my mom be troubled, looking for my fees, affecting the whole family and stuff like that. So then I said, no, I'm quitting. So I quit. And then that's when I started, that's when I went to work for Astro for some time. I had this small marketing agency that I'm telling you about. So I got Astro as a client, but then they said, come in and be full-time. Actually, they would pay me better actually if I was going to be full-time. So that's when I went. I worked there for about 6 months. Then I moved to start my business full-time.
When you quit your university degree, what was the reaction of people around you?
Very few people knew. Very few people knew. So, including my mom, I didn't want to tell. I didn't want to break her heart because she is already invested, right? There's already some sunken costs. So I just told her, no, I'm gonna figure out fees on my own. Don't worry about it. But I actually wasn't going to school. My friends, my friends actually, it's funny because I think two of my friends, the closest to me, actually dropouts also. The other one never even started. He just registered and then decided not to go because also similar backgrounds and stuff like that. Then another one went actually for about a year and quit. So these are the people that know. Most people don't know. I'm just focusing on my. Then obviously my classmates, they are asking me why are you not coming and stuff like that. And there are suspicions around the campus that I've been recruited by the CIO because I started going to work while he's still staying at the campus. So I had student accommodation. So but I'm wearing ties and jackets going to work and then like I'm CIO manje. Yeah.
Your story is full of lessons. So now let's talk about the education system. What's wrong with our education system?
Our education system does not cater to the needs of the student or the person who has to be educated. It's designed, if it's there's what is called consumer centered design, right? You are designing something. If I'm gonna design a phone, if Apple is designing a phone, they design it based on the needs of the consumer. That's not how our education system is designed. I don't know whose desires is it designed around, but it's not the end user at the end of the day. So that's why we are trying to reinvent at Ixa Academy, that we want to provide education that helps the person learning. So I'm telling you about my life because I'm just learning. It's random. I don't understand what am I going to do with this education. I'm learning these things. What am I going to do with them? So, but it caters for very few people who are very academically brilliant, who are going to become doctors, lawyers, and engineers. But still, that's, given, let's say, our economy in Zimbabwe, that's not a guarantee of a brighter future. So you may still be those things and still be struggling financially and stuff like that. So that's the biggest problem. And it doesn't solve the problems that we have, let's say, as a country, as societies, as communities. The education system does not solve most of those problems.
From what you are saying, would you encourage someone to drop out of college?
No, don't drop out of college. You still have better chances than someone who doesn't have a college degree. Unless you have a deep conviction like me, and if you are at that stage, you don't need to be told to drop out. You don't need anyone to tell you.
What needs to be done for education to cater to those problems?
Okay, so what you need to do is to look at our society broadly and see what are the challenges that we have. What does our market need? So, for example, at Ixa Academy, we discovered that our economy at the stage where it is, like right now, you see, we have a lot of construction work to be done. That's why we are training people in the construction skills, right? We have a whole lot of things where we are lagging behind. So we need to identify those skills that are marketable, that solve the problem that we have as society, and then be able to invest in teaching people those skills. And if people have marketable skills that they can be paid for in the market, then you have a properly running economy. It solves a whole lot of problems that we have, right? If you have an educated economy, people that are productive and they're in the workforce, you eliminate drug problems, you eliminate criminal problems, you eliminate a whole lot of issues. Even domestic violence it goes down if we have an educated society that's in the labor force.
All right. Talk to me about the internal conversation that gave you the courage to walk away from the university.
All right. So I'm a math guy. right? Actually, I was very good in school, right? So I look at it that if I'm gonna become a software engineer, because now I've been exposed to the business community, I knew salaries of engineers. So I'm just like, okay, fine. Then I said, if I'm gonna succeed as a software engineer, what would make me succeed? It was my pure dedication and hard work, right? So I said, if I just apply that pure dedication and hard work to the business that I want to start, why wouldn't I succeed? That was the conversation. I said, it's if I don't succeed in business, it just means that I wouldn't also have succeeded as a software engineer. So that was it. And I said, I'm going all in on business. And then obviously you have learned about other people that dropped out, went on to be successful. Those stories, they're helping me to form this conversation and reach this conviction that I don't have to let my mom struggle. Let me take matters into my hands and start my business.
I've noticed that a lot of successful entrepreneurs who dropped out of college, who dropped out of school, they were brilliant minds, just like you have mentioned. But our society, our fellow young people, they tend to neglect that part, that these people, actually, you are a university, you reached that level. But some days say, no, I will drop out into Form 2, I'll drop out at this stage. What's your message to those people?
Yeah, I think on average, a person who went to university will do better than a person who didn't.
Exactly.
Like on average, anyway, even countries that have got a lot of their people graduating from university do well than countries that have lesser people. People think that in Zimbabwe, you have a lot of people who graduate from university, but it's very few. I think it's around 3% of all our people go to university. So when it comes to people going to university, we are very, very low by global standards. And it's like that also with many African countries. So if you have a university degree, it's an advantage to a large extent. Even if, let's say, we see some students that have university degrees who come and learn skills at Ixa Academy to like they learn aluminum fabrication, or they want to run a mechanics garage and stuff like that, they do better than people that don't have, on average. Yeah. Not saying that if you don't have education, some people don't have the privilege to access good education. You can still succeed, but I think if you have the opportunity, and also you create very great networks from university.
Exactly.
If my situation was not the way it was, I probably would have gone to university. So I don't regret. Yeah, sure.
All right. In your previous interviews, you mentioned that you suffered self-doubt a lot.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, talk to us about that and how did you manage to deal with that?
Yeah, I think I suffered from a lot of low self-esteem. I grew up being teased, maybe it's a kind of bullying. So when I was in primary school, I was very good in school. I would always be number one, but people would just say, "One our teacher, so you're getting favors. You're seeing my papers before they come out." When I went to, but still, I had some privileges of being one of our teacher at the school because my mom was a teacher. I was learning at the same school, and in many cases, my mom was my teacher. I think from grade 5 to 7, my mom was my teacher. Then I went but there's sort of a buffer. I'm still a bit manicured because the one of our teacher, you can't do much to me. When I went to secondary school, it became even crazier. So when I went to secondary school, this is what happened. We didn't have money, no money. My mom had to go and borrow money. So I didn't know which school I was going to go to until about 2-3 days before schools opened. Because there's no money, but the closest high school is, it's like, I don't know, 8 or so kilometers away. Kunokura makomo kunobirwa rizi. Azito mwana wa mistress also arugona chikoro. Aende ikoko. But there's no money for me to go to boarding school. So we are wondering, what do we do? So my mom then remembered the auntie who lived near a growth point called the growth point. And they said, you go and learn it in Neshangwe. But I've met this auntie of mine once in my life. And we have no phone, and they don't have a phone for us to call and say, so my mom goes to that are well to do. And my mom goes and borrows money there. But I took a bus and I was at and tatosvika kumba kwatete wamama wangu saka ndatoya mwana akafana kuenda kuchikora handina kana pekutangira. I'm alone and things like that. But my auntie lives there are two huts. And there's one hut which is her bedroom and her husband, and then there's one hut which is the kitchen. But she's got there are 4 kids, 3 girls, 1 boy, and me. I'm now the 5th person there. So we have to sleep in this kitchen. Then so I'm going to school, because now look, I knew people who lived in huts, but I never lived in huts because I lived in the house that the school provides, like for my mom. So I'm living in a bit of a cushioned life. So what is a saga passy, there are few blankets. We didn't even bring a blanket. I think my mom later brought me blankets later on. So I'm living in this place. When I get to the school, I'm so conscious of myself. I'm thinking everyone knows where I slept. Everyone knows I'm sleeping in a kitchen, a round-hearted kitchen. So that thing is affecting me. But then, like other people, I have this kind of treatment that I get, that I knew, that I'm used to, of being minority. Oh, no one cares about me at the new school. So I don't know. I think it affected me, and even my performance in school dropped when I was Form 1 and 2. I think Form 2, that's when I started picking up. But it just affected me. And then, I don't know, it just spiraled like that. I don't know, but I just didn't have good feelings about myself. I just didn't have good feelings. And also coupled with this, my dad, it was... so all this, I'm saying my mom, but my dad is alive. He's doing things, he's around, he's not looking after the family and stuff like that. He's up to his own stuff. So that also affected me very much. I didn't want to be like him. I hated him. So it was a whole lot of issues like that, yeah.
Yeah, I truly understand from what you are saying, because knowing that my father is alive, he is not contributing, I'm suffering with my mother, especially if it is a bigger family. You are seeing yourself suffering and your siblings suffering as well. Sure. It's created a trauma. Sometimes some people, they haven't healed from those traumas. Sure. Did you heal?
I don't know. But so I think I've made a lot of progress. I've been able to confront my dad about those things. I think it's very, very important. When you become a man, you must be able to talk to him man to man and say, exactly. This was bad. I don't hate him anymore. I don't. He ended up being imprisoned at some point, and I think when I would go to see him in prison, we would talk and have very meaningful conversations. And he has apologized for some of the things. So I don't hate him anymore. But I think healing is a process. You don't, even though you may heal in terms of forgiveness and other things, I think there are still certain parts of you that have been damaged by the things that happened to you. So they may still show up here and there. But but sometimes you feel like, I've healed, but there are certain cues that will remind you of those things. Exactly. Yeah, now let's talk about how you manage to deal with the low self-esteem. Yeah. Okay, so I think low self-esteem is it's an illogical thing. So I think the problem that I have is that I'm a logical person. It's illogical to feel bad about yourself because, firstly, no one is perfect, right? So it's a perception of you wanting to be perfect for other people who are not perfect. So all the people that you see do very well, in life or whatever, they are not perfect. They are doing it, they are achieving what they're achieving, despite that they're imperfect. So they come from poor background. I also went, so I think at some point I came to Harare after leaving South. I came to Harare. My mom managed to buy a suburb deal Kwazikogo and built a 3-room house. We moved into that house, only one room had the floor, and the walls were not painted, were not plastered. We were just living in this house and stuff like that. So I'm still going to school. I'm not going to Sege High. I'm going to a school and I'm seeing other kids that are doing well. So I'm also coming to Musha. Remember, in my life, until I was Form 3, I'd only come to Harare once when I was grade 2. So I'm saying, I don't know what to expect about the kids in Harare and stuff like that. So I come to Harare. So I'm living in this house where I don't want anyone to know where I live. And kwatikuva kune madhakwa. So naibofamba usina boots wakafika mapush. Wozosika somewhere then chinja wasika koganaka. So in those things that are in your mind that maybe I'm not I don't deserve to be here. But it's such an illogical thing because then, so what then I said happening to me? I'm seeing that I'm beating these kids that live in houses that I would probably want to live in. They have things. So actually, when I went there, because Komoshata Jera says, I was the only person I got lunch in class. That's not like, and my mom never also thought about it because I'm just I don't Jera says. Kumashama got it. We used to watch about fruits, stuff like that, and you survive. So I'm all this. I don't want anyone to know where I stay. I'm trying to avoid it, but it's such an illogical thing because at the end of the day, what are we doing at school? It's about learning. Are you doing well? So I'm beating all those people in class. Like I became even more competitive. I'm like, was my mom had threatened me? Because my mom had such a similar situation where she's learning from the radio as she comes to her. And she says, when you in the class. So I'm thinking, I'm beating these people. I'm beating these people. So confidence starts building up. And along the way in life, you then learn that no one had a perfect start. So you being conscious about how you look, whatever it is that is giving you low self-esteem, and it's illogical. And you can do things. You can learn. Also, educate yourself about it. I read a book by Dr. Miles Monroe, the late, called Understanding Your Potential. I think that was the breakthrough moment for me. To get to fully realize that all I care about, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
What was the one line or idea from that book that rewired your brain?
So the idea was that when God creates you, He gives you limitless potential. But then what you do is that you limit the potential on your own by your beliefs. So He talks about breaking the beliefs that cap your potential. So that was the idea that really, so I said God created me with a limitless potential. So I believe that I have limitless potential, and I could see it. When you then look at it in your life, you see that yes, I am able to do things, and you shouldn't limit it, and you shouldn't let the ideas of other people confuse you, or you have a misunderstanding of who you are. So it got me to understand who I am and that I'm worth it. As a person, I can be able to do whatever I purpose myself to do.
All right. I'm sure at one point everyone goes through some of the self-doubt. Even I've spoken with some entrepreneurs. They tell me that sometimes I go through it, but I know what to do. Some they will find solace in books, in reading, watching some stuff, or interacting. So on days that you feel like that, what do you tell yourself, or what do you do?
Yeah, I think that's the same thing. I think every entrepreneur has got self-doubt. Even I've read a book on Elon Musk. He had a lot of self-doubt, along the journey. So self-doubt is not a problem. You have to fight it. So yeah, I do the same. I recently I've been going through some very tumultuous, season in the business. you read the books, you talk to fellow entrepreneurs. You have to remind yourself, continue having that conversation in the mind that this can be done. I can do it. So yeah, that's the way out. You have to fight it, because most people, they doubt themselves and then they just leave it that way. You have to fight it with new ideas, because self-doubt is an idea. That idea can only be fought by a superior idea. Where do you find superior ideas? You go and listen to people that have done it. You go and talk to them. So myself, I've got a lot of entrepreneurs, mentors, friends, fellow business people that I talk to when I have such problems, supportive, friends and stuff like that. So that's what you need, so that the idea of self-doubt does not become ingrained, or does not form roots in your mind, and you can be able to push from there.
Getting people who are like-minded is very tough. Even when it comes to recruiting good people that you want, is very tough. So talk to me, how did you manage to do that, to secure a good circle of people?
I don't think it's tough. It's you must have that kind of a mind. So the problem that people have is, so for example, people come and they want to be my friend today, but you don't have half of the mind that I have now. So I'm not gonna take you seriously. You're not gonna be my friend. So you must start to do your own work on your own. So I told you, I started reading books on business, self-development, everything when I was lower 6, when I was in Form 5. That's when I started doing that. I'm just reading books. I'm just watching podcasts. I'm just consuming this content that helps me shape that kind of a mindset. So when I then got into the business space, I know how to talk to those people. I know what they think. So when I speak to people, they just like me. I told you that I was going to a breakfast meeting that I would attend every Tuesday. That breakfast meeting was very expensive to be part of. I was the only one who wasn't paying because someone didn't like me and admitted him. Such a young man. So this time I'm around 18, 19. Such a young man with a brilliant mind. So people are actually admiring me. People want to be my friend because such kind of a mindset. They are not meeting so many people with such kind of a mindset. The problem that is with the young people, I think I'm getting a kind of a reputation of bashing young people in Zimbabwe. They're not developing themselves. You don't read books. You don't watch podcasts. You think these people, they're after there to take money from you or whatever. You have nothing to be stolen from. So if Elon Musk is doing an interview, my friend, he has nothing that he can steal from you. Go and listen to him. Like Strive must do a post on his Facebook page every week. I tell people that if you're a young person and you don't go to listen to the richest person of your own kind every week when you post his thoughts, you have a problem. You must be listening to that. So I've read every post on that page. That's one thing that I'll tell you. Every post. When I started reading the post, I think it was later on after he started, they had a website which was free for access actually. I don't know if it's still free. So I went back to read all the posts that he has ever posted, right? So if I meet another young person who has read all those things, somehow in our conversation we'll connect. We'll connect. It happens if a mechanic meets a mechanic, they're going to connect over something. If a nurse meets a nurse, they're going to connect. If someone who loves cooking meets someone who loves cooking, they're going to connect. If you love things about church, if two pastors meet, they'll connect on some level. So for you to gather people around you of the same mindset, you must be of that kind of mindset. You don't come to hang out with the people, then also each of that mindset along the journey. You must have something in your mind. Yes, some people may see that you're still below where I am, but if they have seen that you have put some effort to do something, they're going to help you and then you're going to be part of that circle.
But have you ever reached a point where you was like, no, I'm giving up, this is it?
Giving up differs. Yeah, I think I have. But giving up for me is like I wanted to sell my business. Yeah, twice. I've really thought of selling my business.
At that point, what was going through in your mind in the personal life?
I'm like, so the first time I had run out of new ideas or the ideas I had, I didn't want to implement it. So I didn't have the light bulb moment. But I was selling one part of the business. I had another business that I wanted to pursue. It was already in motion. So I wanted to invest in that fully. Then another time, yeah, things were very hard. And I had found someone who was interested in buying the business. And I'm like, things are hard. If I let go of this business, they give me, I think the offer was $250,000 US. I can go and live in Cape Town and have a peaceful life. And then maybe I do that for a year and then come back and start building a business again. Yeah, so those have been the moments. Yeah, it's just ideas. You just think of a way out sometimes when things are hard or when you don't have new ideas and stuff like that. But yeah, not giving up entrepreneurship. I will never be. I don't think I can do that because I'm addicted to taking risks. Actually, people that know me, they know that I should have a lot more money than I have now. But whenever I make money, I think of something crazy to do with the money in the business and not use it for myself and stuff like that.
Entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. You face a lot of challenges, and you mentioned some of them. Can you share a humbling moment or something that you felt dismally that you was like, no, I don't know if I will wake up on this? If there is any.
I don't know. I don't think I have anything like that. Where I thought I would not come out of it. Something humbling. I've had challenges that like other people, but man, come on. I have nothing to fall back on. So actually the first employees that I wait for me, they know this. I will tell them, you guys have got degrees. I have nothing. So if you are a problem, I let you go because I have nothing to fall back on. I don't know. I've never had such a thing. I'm addicted to taking risk. I take a lot of risk in my business. And actually, sometimes I'm very happy when things are going bad. Sometimes I think I'm a maniac. Yeah, because, recently in my business, someone who is a competitor of ours hacked our WhatsApp account. So we lost our WhatsApp account that we have used for the past 7 years, where all our clients do the inquiries. So that's check. I recently just moved to a new building that has got 4 floors. So I'm renting a building of 4 floors. It's costing me a fortune to run that building per month. Yeah, right. So I'm in that case, I'm having some very serious personal problems that we are facing. I'm moving to a new location. So people are used to our old locations. They know about our old location. So I'm just like having a whole bunch of us. But also along the journey, because I'm moving to a bigger building, I'm canceling leases with some of my landlords. And some of them don't want to agree with me on how we part ways because I don't have enough time to give them enough notices. So I'm getting letters from lawyers from these landlords that I'm parting ways with. It's just things are just a mess. But it's probably the time that I've enjoyed myself the most. It's probably the time I've enjoyed myself the most. But I everything I would just say. Because I love to think. I think I'm a thinker. So I'm thinking and I'm saying and I'm winning those battles. I'm winning each battle one by one, one by one.
I want to understand what keeps you going in those difficult times.
I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to stop.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
I don't know how to stop. If I'm gonna tell you that, hey, I think about this, I'll be lying to you. Some people say I think about my kids, I think about this. I'll be like, I don't know. This is the way of life that I've chosen. So I don't know. Yeah.
All right. What is the biggest amount of money that changed everything for you since you started your business that you realized that, no, this is a real business?
All the big amounts of money that I've had, they've never changed my life. Small amounts they have. My first big contract in business was about, it was $20,000 that I was getting for a software system that I was doing. I didn't do anything tangible. That money, it didn't do anything for me. I had many other bigger contracts, and that later on, they didn't really change much. The monies that have changed my mind, my life actually is more money reinvested in the business. That has been what has changed my life. I don't know why it is that, but when you get this money, sometimes if you're a risk taker like me, you take a big risk, or you buy a nice car. I was once a fan of nice German cars at some point. So it's those things that happen. But yeah, I think my life actually is business wise. It has never been a way I have made a big contract. I made a lot of money once off. It's been where I've made $1,000, we reinvest it, we do something, then we have month on month growth in the business. Yeah.
Yeah. What does success mean to you at this point?
All right. So at this point, I don't know. I don't know if I ever define. Is success even an attainable goal? Because I think it's a goal that you keep chasing. If you ask me 5 years ago, if I'm at this stage, I would be happy. I will not be chasing for more, based on the mindset that I had back then. So I have to keep going. So the work that I do right now, besides making me and my family money, it provides a lot of impact. We train people that sometimes have lost hope, and we give them hope, and we give them skills. We teach them entrepreneurship, and then they send me testimonials that I have money to do this. I'm sending my kids. Someone even sent me pictures of uniforms that they bought for their child, and said the beginning of this year, said because of the training I got, I'm now making money. Look, I don't think I want to own my uniforms. So when you get stories like that, now I'm even helping people that are vulnerable. Like if you need a skill, like I recently had a guy who can't walk. I don't know, he got injured at a mine, and I think he broke his spine, so he can't walk. We gave him to learn skills, and so when you get stories like that, the impact just continues to fuel you. Obviously, yeah, you're looking after yourself and your family, but those things. So I don't know if I've just started high school last year. We want to build that. I'm enjoying the ride of building the high school. I recently did a seminar with them on entrepreneurship. The kids love it. So I think I'm just gonna keep going and going and going. Business wise, I'm still very young. Like most people, if not even, I know people my age who are still staying with their parents, being looked after by their parents. So I've got a whole lot of future again ahead of me. Yeah,
and maybe your future is brighter.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't define success at this point. I'll be lying.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I just want to remind you to subscribe, like, and comment so that our content will reach more people. Thank you so much. Starting out a business, sometimes you start on the wrong side of the law, and then you learn other aspects as you go, as time goes on. Can you share your experience? At what point did you realize that this business requires registration? These amounts, because after my A-levels, I was a teacher, A-level T. I was teaching my O-levels after completing my A-levels. So the challenges that you were facing my employer, I was like, because I've exposed to that kind of nature, the requirements of registering a school and other stuff. Yeah.
You know that even Econet started importing their equipment before they were approved to to operate. There's a student by Chiafa that there's a very small difference between a businessman and a criminal.
Yeah.
We all have done things illegally. Yeah, we didn't register the school for a long time. For a long time, yeah. They would chase us. We actually support the Rotas letters to close the school. Yeah, I think probably for the first 3-4 years, we're not registered. But I could register for the process.
Yeah.
But they say you must have at least 3 rooms plus a reception. You must have qualified teachers. You must have this. Then you have to go to City Council. Thank God City Council have reduced their rates and the license fees. But back then, the license fee alone was $1,200. Then health inspection is $660. Right? Registration in the ministry is $500. For you to get a sender, it's $500. So I simply couldn't afford this
Yeah,
thing.
sure.
But yeah, along the journey, you have to do you play cat and mouse, you do whatever you have to do. You have to survive, right? Eventually you catch up. At least those things you can't be able to do them starting the way I started, but along the way you must make sure that, because if you register, it even gives value to your business if you are compliant and stuff like that. So you have to do it along the journey. But at the beginning, man, you do what you have to do to survive. You do what you have to do to survive.
Well, I've spoken with Mr. Barnabas Marambiri, and he shared the importance of registering a business. So I want to hear from you. Is there any changes that happened before pre-registering and after?
Okay, so actually,
Especially considering the financial side.
okay, so there's a difference here. So in terms of registering my company, I registered my company in May after I started it in February. So that's around 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. Registering the company with the register of companies, that is very, very important. Gives you a lot of advantages, because I've won some contracts along the way, even though they were small. But for me, like I remember there's this contract that I got from Friendship Bench, which was for $1,600. It was life-changing for me, right? But they wanted someone with a registered company and a tax clearance. I had those things. So within 30 months of starting the business, I registered. But there is now compliance based on business, right? Like for us, education, after you register the business, you must then be compliant. But even the compliance, right now we work with some NGOs that give us students to train. They need you to have that compliance with the Ministry of Tertiary Education or the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education. So that is very, very important. So I think registering a company is very cheap. I think for $120 or something, you can register a company those days. So registering the business is very, very important. Even the compliance part with the relevant ministries, relevant departments, is very, very important. Yeah, you miss an opportunity. Sorry.
No.
You are going to miss certain opportunities if you don't have those. So it's very, very important. But I'm saying that when you're starting like this, to register a school, you probably, I don't know, minimum of $3,000
Or more.
Yeah, or more. This month that I just don't have at this point, so I'm just gonna do what I have to do to survive until I can be able to do it and even open myself. Even parents, they want to send their kids to schools that are registered. Well, if you're not registered, you can be closed at any given time. You know, then they lose. So it gives you credibility. People ask those questions. Are you registered with the ministries, the relevant ministries? So it's very, very important as you grow to
All right, we've spoken about how you started your business, and we can see where you are now and where you are going. So now, a lot of people, they neglect the middle. I call it the missing middle. In your case, what is the missing middle? What did you do in between?
Okay, so one of the things that people don't understand, for you to grow your business. So when I started in the co-working space, most of the people that I studied with, some are still in the co-working space. Some have gone back to jobs. Some have closed down their business. They've tried to restart and stuff like that. Because in the middle there, you must move out of survival. And it requires sacrifice. There are sacrifices, a lot of sacrifices to be made. If you're gonna be moving from that level, so if it's in America, you get capital. That's how you move from the being a small guy to go in the middle and to the big boys. Here in Zimbabwe, I think skills. So for me, I have honed my skills in digital marketing. I don't think when it comes to paid advertising in Zimbabwe, anyone knows more than I do. I'm still, maybe there is, but I haven't met that person. I know paid advertising than most people. I have had with a partnership with certain guys where through just paid advertising, a business made $250,000 in less than a year after we started it. Yes, because that's how much I know about paid advertising. So I've honed in those skills and I've sacrificed a lot. So there's a phase where you start making a few $1,000s. You buy the nice car, or whatever car, it may not be even nice. It could be just a small car. And that car is costing you in terms of service, fuel, and stuff like that. I've gone through that, but I was very wise to stop it very early on. And then I started reinvesting in the business. The problem that we have in Zimbabwe is that most people, they are doing business as a replacement for formal employment. So when they start making money, they don't reinvest in the business. It's not about building institutions. I have a different mindset, which is about building any institutions that even last beyond my lifetime. Then somewhere in the middle there's the issue of the lady in the red dress, which is a distraction. Businesses that look nice when you look from them from outside and you want to go in there. I have done it. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've started a boxing promotion.
Okay.
And I've opened a timber business where I was going to go get timber from Yanga and come to sell here in Harare. But it's all distractions, and I was leaving all these opportunities that are within my space in the education space, and going for the lady in a red dress. Those that have watched Matrix know about the lady in a red dress. So those are some of the issues that happen in the middle there. Yeah, I've made some mistakes along the way, but the good thing is you correct and then you move on, and yeah, that's what happens. But that's what happens when you just move out of the starting phase to the next phase and you feel invincible. So now you're making money, you have $1,000 in your pocket which you don't know what to do with. So you start doing all this.
What's your attitude towards money?
Money. I don't care about money.
Come on.
Yeah, sure. I need it for its utility.
Okay.
Yeah, but actually, one of the problems that we have in my business is that they are not optimized for profit. So if they say in some cases they are overstaffed because I'm hiring someone that I think I'm training for the next level of business that I need to be at. So my business are not optimized for profits. And whenever I have money, I reinvest it in something, in the business, in things like that. So money is not that much of great importance to me. I need it for its utility. Yes, I need to be fed, to look after my family, to do what I need to do. But I'm not crazy about money. Like, I don't know.
I really wanted to talk much about the lot of things that you mentioned. For example, the boxing sponsorship that you just mentioned and other stuff. But due to our time, I want you to read a letter that you would write to an 18-year-old Tinofara Mutivongi.
Okay, so you want me to
just read a letter that you would write, maybe advising him about the things that you now know. So look at that camera.
All right, dear Tino. Your dreams are valid. You can achieve those things. Along the journey, you're going to face multiple challenges, but don't quit. The challenges don't mean that you're not destined for this. They mean that you're doing the right things, and there's resistance. And so once you overcome that resistance, that's where there is the sweet part. That's where your dreams come true. You must learn to work hard, because for you to succeed, you must work hard and leave no room for failure. You must work so hard that it is unreasonable for you to fail. Don't listen to people who doubt you, because they don't speak doubts about you. The doubts they talk about are doubts they have of themselves. And they're just projecting who they are onto you. Surround yourself with people that believe in you, people that reinforces the confidence that you have about you. And if you do this, you can be able to achieve your dreams. You can be able to achieve your goals. Life is complicated. It's not what you see on the surface. People that you see that have made mistakes, it's not that they're the worst people. Just that life is more nuanced than you may understand now. Life is deeper than you see on the surface. So you are not immune from making those mistakes. Be careful that you don't make them, but when you make such mistakes, always make sure that you find the right course and correct those mistakes. And if you do this, we have a life that's worthwhile, and you enjoy your life, and all will be all with you. Don't worry. Relax. Chill. Don't take life too seriously. Don't take problems too seriously. Life is actually a game, actually. And if you're too serious about it, you become a pawn. If you chill and see things and just allow the sovereign being in you to rule, you just say that you're the mastermind, and life goes according to what you plan and what you desire. Goodbye.
Yeah, your letter was really speaking to me, man. Thank you so much for doing it. I wish you the very, very, very best. Thank you so much. I hope someone out there learned something from this conversation. Now, as a tradition, we have what you call the final 5. I'm going to ask you 5 questions, then you answer them as short as you can. 1 word, if it is possible, or 1 sentence, if it is that long. What is the best and the worst advice you ever received? Let's start with the best.
The best advice? I believe in yourself.
What's the worst advice?
That if you go against what people think or what people say, that you have to follow the crowd. And yeah.
If you had to make one universal law, which one would it be?
One universal law, everyone must read a book.
If you had to change one thing in Africa, which one would it be?
Hey, you want to get me arrested?
No.
Hey,
no ways, yeah.
Yeah, if I change one thing in Africa, one president.
What's the craziest you have done to make money?
Craziest thing I've done to make money?
Yeah, craziest thing you ever done to make money?
Damn. Interesting. The ones ndakambotakura churu. Kuti kushanochera churu vachisa munikirikeni mumunda.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, ndakambopusha bhara chitakura churu and made some money. That made me very happy.
Thank you so much, Sir, for coming. I really appreciate, man. I believe these conversations are very important. They will help us, they will help someone out there to start their own business, to learn something. I believe someone out there, they have installed the reading software in their mindset so that they will read. So on this one, I don't always do this, but on this one with you, I just wanted to recommend 2 books also that will help someone to kickstart their entrepreneurship journey.
Read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That's a must-read book. Then read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Those books should help you if you're starting out. And if you're already in business and you want to grow your business, read all books by Alex Amos and follow him. That's what I can say.
Thank you so much. I much appreciated. I don't take it for granted when someone agrees to come and share some knowledge. I really appreciate. So now let me turn over to our viewers. Thank you so much for watching this far. I really appreciate your support. So if it's your first time on this platform, please hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share.